Hey, good evening and welcome to Freedom Speech and You. I'm your host, Ken, and you're welcome to the show that discusses your topics. So let me get the chat view open here on my end because we are using Streamyard tonight, and so I have a totally different view tonight. We have some people out there. We have a couple of viewers, somebody on Twitch and a couple of viewers on YouTube. Nice to see you out there. By all means, join us in chat. Tell us what you want to talk about tonight. I'm running solo tonight. Andrea's voice is not strong enough tonight, but she will be around shortly in the thing. So Yang says I'll be back later. Stephanie is doing a special birthday show for Hal Sparks. Okay, no problem. Maybe that's why everybody else is not here. But we start when we start. And they don't necessarily tell me everything. So everything is what it is. I talk to myself, then I'll be talking to myself. And that'll just be the routine tonight for a while. And we'll just see whether people show up or not. So keep that open. Keep this open. Maybe I can actually get in Twitter and tell people we're live if my laptop will cooperate. Because all of this stuff is just a lot of load from my computer, especially the laptop. And so, things are what they are. But I see some of you out there. Not sure why you're not chatting. I don't know if something I said last week is you caused to be quiet. But last week's show was basically directed at Kinky because Kinky directed something at me, and I didn't really know why everybody said that Kinky was a troll, but obviously Kinky is a troll. Only comes to disrupt, and so trolls don't get my attention. We talk to people that talk civil to us, and that's the basis of what the show is about. A lot of people think the word freedom means you can say whatever you want, but that's not true on social media. On social media, you have to follow certain rules, and if you don't follow those rules, they take you down. You don't like those rules, start your own social media is basically what I would tell you. Because, if you want to have Truth Social, be like Trump and go create it. But if you want to have a civil discussion with other people, then you're going to have to follow the rules on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, and that's just the way the rules crumble. So, and I don't know, I guess everybody else is doing whatever they're doing, and I'm here to sit and talk to myself for an hour, but so be it. Because I said I would be on it this time, and so here I am. So, here I am with my trusty chroma key green colored glass to make light of the evening. But whoever's watching out there, thanks for watching. And we'll just see how the stream goes. So we have one person on YouTube and one person on Twitch, and I guess they're both doing whatever they're doing. But maybe they'll chime in here at some point and tell me what to talk about. Essentially, tonight's topic is the fact that this is Hal Sparks' birthday. Hal Sparks is the reason why I even started a show like this, because he was doing a show and other people were doing shows, and I wanted to give people a place to talk when the other shows were over. So that was the whole purpose in starting a show in the first place. There were some setbacks with the initial show. Some of you who have watched every single week know what those were. Talked about them before. There's no reason to discuss them now. But essentially, Andrea came to me and said, keep doing that show. And so here we are. And that's why Freedom Speech and You exists. We're on 50 minutes earlier tonight because I felt like coming on at 7 because I knew I was coming on by myself, and I thought that it would be maybe better to the guests who join us in chat to come on an additional 15 minutes earlier and, be like other shows, start at the top of the hour and make it possible. I also thought that since we're switching back to Streamyard to get rid of the audio problem that Andrea can't resolve on her end and only started when we switched to Restream, that if something weird happened tonight and I couldn't use the software, I'd have 50 minutes to tool with it. So that was part of the reason we're doing that. So while you listen to me banter about, I'm going to actually take the Twitter account that is associated with this show, if it'll behave over here. And maybe actually tweet that we are live. And because I have changed software and because I do not have mods at this time, I do not have anybody to say where to go donate. So just hang in there. They'll tell you later, but that'll probably be about the time that the show actually gets going and people are actually here. So curious, those of you that are being quiet, what are you doing tonight on your Sunday night besides watching me? And what do you want to talk about? Hopefully not about Trump, because we talk enough about that dude. But if that's what you want to talk about, that's free and fine with me. So I'll just keep meandering my eyes over there to watch the chat to see if any of you say anything. But so far, there's nothing. And, to me, it's like deja vu, because this is the way my show started all those months ago with a zero audience or one or two people. So I'm cool with that. I can talk to one or two people. It doesn't bother me. So I will take that back. And Andrea tells me that she is checking the new advisory for the hurricane, and then she will be in chat. So that is beneficial. We will get an update on the hurricane. I looked myself a little bit ago. So we have an update from Andrea. We have one viewer out there on Twitch. I think I know who that is. So happy to see you out there watching on Twitch, or else that's Yang just keeping the stream alive to keep my numbers up. I'm not exactly sure. It's either you, Yang, or it's somebody else, but thank you for watching. So it could just be that Andrea has to tell everybody that the stream is live, because Discord doesn't necessarily tell people that the stream is live. So I see one viewer on YouTube. So hello, Crystal. Good to see you tonight. We're on a little bit early. I started at the top of the hour instead of 15 after, and I'm given to understand that people are possibly watching, according to Yang, a Stephanie Miller birthday event for Hal. So maybe that's where everybody is. I don't know. I wasn't invited, but so be it. But here we are to discuss the topics of the day. And earlier on, I just mentioned that last week that I talked about what Kinky wanted to talk about and basically got trolled. But so be it. Sometimes you get trolled, and sometimes you just don't realize what's going on. And last week, I was extremely eager to get out of the house and go watch the rocket launch, which I was able to get one of the best views of a rocket launch that I've ever gotten. So that was my goal that night. Last week, I didn't even eat before the show. Went and watched the rocket launch, got back here and ate dinner. So that's unusual. There's really only been like maybe one or two other times in doing this show that I've not eaten before the show. So it was necessary and essential for where I was going, though, because I was going to some place that after dark the facilities would be closed, and so it's like, yeah, no, just snack on something and get where you're going, and not have to do what Mother Nature makes you have to do. So, what do you want to talk about tonight, Crystal? What's on your mind? And Crystal, if you didn't hear that, Andrea will be here shortly after she checks on Hurricane Ian. My internet is not doing well, so I don't know how much I will be able to actually participate. Well, don't feel so bad, Crystal. The computer that's doing my video and audio, that's working good. The computer over to my left that should be allowing me to show content is not doing super well. In fact, it's going super slow. I don't know why. So I don't know what the deal is with it because I turned it on early. Almost makes me want to shut it off and restart it. But that could make it worse. So just kind of see. It may be that it suffers more under the Streamyard than it does under Restream, but that's kind of like hard to believe, but who knows. And the topic was kind of how we met through Hal Sparks, and that's why we're here. And so tonight is his birthday night, and that's why the show is kind of named after him tonight. There's that long drawn out title that I created. And so let's see who we have. We have one person on Twitch and two on YouTube. So you're going to have a friend here shortly, Crystal. Somebody's signing in. So we'll see who that is. So somebody's on YouTube besides you, Crystal, but I'm not sure who. So we'll see. It's like we need some Jeopardy music while we wait. It's almost like a long, drawn-out wait for people to come in tonight. So. Anyways, This is the part of the show where I wish that it was just easy to just play music, because I would just play music and we could just sit here and talk about music and stuff. But you can't play music anymore on the internet because everything's got to be copyrighted and stuff, and so you can't do that. Okay, welcome, Andrea. So I guess I could look at the headlines and see what's on the headlines. What's happening with the hurricane? It's kind of supposed to get here by Wednesday, and it could go over kind of a wide expanse. Just have to find a new story that's 2 hours ago. This is 11 minutes ago, so I kind of figure that this is kind of close. Yes, both Andrea and I live in Florida, and where Andrea lives is closer to where the hurricane is going to impact Florida and begin across Florida. I'm farther away from that. So I was going to share from the other computer, but it'll probably work better from this computer. So let's see. So that's coming up. Make this so smaller. Make this bigger.
Next couple days, and of course, if you had any plans to visit, those could or will likely be changing as we move on through the next couple. This is Tuesday now. I mentioned the arrival of some of those tropical storm conditions could be happening as early as the latter portion of Tuesday. This is a number of forecast models and their ensemble members. It's little tweaks to those forecast models where you see the little red L's. Those are all potential low locations. And you see this cluster for Tuesday. It's getting closer together. We're getting closer in time to Tuesday. You would expect that model consensus to get better. It is, and really starting to zero in on this western tip of Cuba. The journey from now to there has those very warm sea surface temperatures in the northwestern Caribbean and no wind shear. That is why rapid intensification is forecast. That coupled with very high amounts of atmospheric moisture. And we should point out those storms from last night collapsed a bit today. There may have been a little bit of dry air that hurt this system in the short term. We saw that overall intensity dip just a little bit to 45 degrees. I think as we head into the overnight hours tonight, you get the upper levels of the atmosphere that cool a little bit more quickly when the sun's down as compared to that air that's down closer to those very warm sea surface temperatures. That maximizes instability. We'll see a blow up of convection showers and thunderstorms overnight. That's probably the one that really gets this structure of Ian going. And once it has that, it's rapid intensification. We've been talking about that phrase is explicitly
Okay, just a slight technical problem there. Fortunately resolved before I ran out of video for the tech problem. Okay, so now we have an audience, and good to see you out there, audience. We have an audience of 7 on YouTube and 1 on Twitch. So let me see. Let me get a quick count of heads. So we have Crystal out there, Andrea out there, Jolie out there, Robin out there, Rosebud out there, and Bad with 2 Ds. Welcome, everyone. Something technically happened, I think, because maybe the computers are just unhappy this evening, or maybe the latest Windows update is not too swift, but something technically happened. I was showing the Fox News Tropical Storm Ian update at the time, and just sort of got an error message. So, hi, Ernie. And so whatever happened, and everything froze. And I was like, okay, I lost my camera and I don't know what's going on. So fortunately, I have a trouble video just in case. And I was able to play that. So we had a slight blackout there, but we're back. So breathe a sigh of relief and just be thankful that it's working. So, but anyway, if I can get a map of Florida, the heck with the video. So you all talk amongst yourselves, see if I can find a Florida map. Okay, that'll work. See if that will go bigger. Here's a map of Florida. So if we can share that Florida map. So let's see. Yep, works. Okay, so if you can see my mouse pointer, the storm is somewhere around down in here, I think. Or it's going to be here in this vicinity by Tuesday morning or thereabouts. So the storm is supposed to come out of this area and head toward Florida, and it's probably going to head sort of kind of like this across Florida. The only thing about it is it could come out of this area and head like this, or I could head more like that, or I could head more like that. It all depends on what happens, because there's a storm front up here roughly somewhere that's going to keep it from going wherever. So if you can't see my mouse pointer, which is highly possible, let's try it now. Now I can't see your chat because I only have one computer open, but basically by Tuesday the storm is kind of going to be here. So y'all like hold your chat for a while and you come back to me when I say I'm back, okay? And it's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of this area between Havana and Meridia. By Wednesday, it's going to move up toward here in Tampa, and it's going to try to cut across the state and go up. That's if it stays dead center on the path. Otherwise, it's going to go toward West Palm, or it's going to head up toward Tallahassee or the Panhandle. So that's kind of where it's going. We don't see the pointer. Yeah, bummer. Probably because it just doesn't show up. But suffice to say that below Florida there's Cuba, and to the left of Cuba there is the Central American community. It's going to be between those two places on Tuesday, and then it's going to go through the Gulf and head toward either the center of Florida or the middle south of the center, or it's going to head up toward the Panhandle. It all depends on whether the storm goes one way or the other, because a cold front or a warm front, whatever, is sitting up here along the southeast above Florida, that's going to steer it one way or the other. That way I don't have to show a video. GFS says Panhandle, and European says Tampa. Yep, they always disagree. Pretty much always. And pretty much if they all agree, then it doesn't go where any of them say. But that's the gist of how forecasting goes. It's an educated guess. It's only so good. And Andrea has shared what the euro is saying. So I will bring that up. So what are we looking at? You're looking at me, unless you're behind the stream. What are you looking at? You're looking at me. You're looking at my camera. You're looking at a video representation that takes the place of the green wall behind me. It's not really a hurricane yet. It's a tropical storm, but it's coming. So y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to pull out the picture that Andrea just sent me. My other computer is just not behaving tonight. Now to figure out how to get that to something that I can show you. Nope. Should be. I don't know. Is there a hurricane every year? No. The propensity for hurricanes changes with each year. I can't wait till Andrea gets a computer so that Andrea can share her own files. Not that I dislike doing it. It's just the machinations I have to go through to change things from text to things that I can show you. So talk amongst yourselves while I stare at the screen and bring up a photo. It's not an easy process. Maybe I can just it's not really easy to show you, but this is what Andrea sent, and there's like a little photo here, and trying to get it to display on my computer is like not working tonight. Now this is the Euro, if you can see it, and like Florida is like right there above my fingers. So this sorry, touched it and moved it. So there's Florida like right above my finger, and this cone of uncertainty, this area that it could strike at, includes like all of Florida when you look at all of that. So that's why it's so uncertain, because between now and Wednesday it could be anywhere, and that we're talking about the eye of the hurricane, the center of the hurricane being anywhere within that cone of uncertainty. You're not talking about the hurricane itself being confined within that. We're talking about the center of the hurricane. So the size of the hurricane shifts either this way or that way. And it's a pretty big hurricane by the time it's a hurricane. And it could be, they had predicted earlier, a Category 4, which is a pretty serious hurricane. So, and yes, hurricane season goes from June 1st to November 30th. And that's not the only kind of weather that can hit Florida. You can also have tornadoes that come out of that season. So sometimes it goes up the middle of the predicted path. Sometimes it doesn't. They go different ways. This hurricane is basically going similar to Charlie in the way that it's entering the state. And Charlie did not go where the National Hurricane Center said that it would go. It actually went slightly different, and local forecasters actually did a better job of predicting where Charlie would go. So, yes, it comes in from the Gulf side or the Tampa side of the state. Gulf side is actually worse because of two factors. One, the Gulf water is hotter, so hotter water feeds hurricanes. The other reason why the Gulf side is bad is because when you come in from the Gulf side, you have the east side of the storm hitting land, and the storm rotates this way. So if you're seeing it the same way I'm seeing it, The storm is here's land, and the storm is rotating this way toward land, and it hits harder on this side, on the east side, than it does on the west side. So when a storm comes at Florida from the west, the worst of the storm is out here over the ocean, and as it comes around, this side coming across the coast of Florida is not nearly as bad. So it's worse when it's in the Gulf because one, it's fed more by the hot water, and two, it's the worst side of the storm hitting the state as it comes in. That doesn't mean that a storm in the Atlantic can't be very, very bad. It can be just as bad. It depends on conditions of the water and so forth, and how long it stays out there, and so on and so forth. But it just means that most of the time, the worst place to be in the storm when it sits off your coast is whichever the east side. So, and that's only true of hurricanes that are north of the equator. If it's a cyclone and on the opposite side of the equator, all of that's reversed because it spins the other way too. Okay, so yep, I'm looking at email from Andrea. Okay, that's hopefully something that's easier to bring up. We'll see. So let's see if I can share that. I don't know. So can you all see that? I don't know, because when I make it that big, I can't see my screen when I make it big. So I'm going to just hope that you can see it when I make it big, because that's the storm path. And that's where it could go. And all of those different colored lines are the different storm predictions. So hopefully that was bigger for you. Yeah, Andrea is protecting her voice tonight. So yes, Rosebud, you're on the dirty side of Ian. The dirty side is what the forecasters call the east side. And part of the reason why they call it that is because that terminology can be applied in either direction depending on which side of the equator you're on. Robin says, well done singing Happy Birthday for Hal the other day. Yeah, I wonder if everybody knew what I was singing, because the song that I was singing to was Standing on Top of the World by Van Halen, or what some people call Van Hagar, since it was the Van Halen with Sammy Hagar. And I was watching part of Stuttering John today, and I happened to tune into the part where they were saying, somebody had said that, like, to say super chat to Stuttering John to get him to stop singing. Maybe one day when I get super chats enabled, I'll have to see if I can get people to pay me for that. But whatever, because some people like my singing and some people don't. So, to each their own. That's why there's different kinds of music, because people like who they like and they dislike who they dislike. So, yeah. But that was fascinating the other day, because not only did I get on Hal's show, but I actually got on Stephanie Miller also. So that was pretty cool. Jolie says you did a great job. Hal loved it. Andrea says Hal had a great birthday. I hope he did, yeah. Trying to think back, like 53 for me. Who are Hal and who are John and who are so forth. That's part of the reason, Ernie, that we entitled this episode the way we did. Because part of the reason why I know these people that usually hang out on this show is because I joined watching Hal Sparks. And Hal Sparks is a comedian that has been on such shows as I Love the 80s. He's been on different shows as a entertainer. Lab Rats, Queer as Folk. There's a few others that I don't remember. He's in the movie Dude, Where's My Car? As Zoltan. And he's in some other movies and such. And he is also the different things. Yeah, he's really a comedian of all trades. He's a singer. He's a talk show host. So that's where I got into him, because one night I was looking for a Trump rally, and I was looking to see if there was a liberal take on a Trump rally, and I just sort of landed on Hal Sparks that night, and I've been watching ever since. And because of watching him, I started watching different things like Stuttering John. And Stuttering John is from the Howard Stern show, and he used to be the announcer on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And then there's Richard Ojeda, the Major, as he's called, and he talks. And then there's all these different people. But I mentioned that I was on Stephanie Miller's show, and she's kind of the one that got Hal. I think she's the one that got Hal to start having a radio show on WCPT. If not, it was somebody else, but I think it was Stephanie Miller that did that. So Stern used to be gross. I don't know what he's like now, because I don't have like Sirius XM radio, so I wouldn't know. I'm told he's different, but so it's just kind of different things. Do I like George Carlin? Yes. Hippy Dippy Weatherman? Yes. Tonight's forecast mostly dark. Yeah, I like that one. I like George Carlin is really funny with all these different things. The other one, that comedian, I can't think of his name, but there was one that I was always interested in. Anyway, you can't change from what you were, and Howard Stern is gross. I don't know. That's some people's opinion that you can't change and turn into something else. But it's just an opinion. I mean, Carlin is the greatest of all time, perhaps. Yeah. He's just interesting. There's a lot of other good people though that are really good, like Rodney Dangerfield is one of my favorites. Andrea says Lenny Bruce is the original GOAT. Yeah, Ernie, I would say that Howard Stern is probably more fake than most people. It probably only mattered to him that he had popularity. I mean, certainly if you listen to John's opinion of him and how he conducted himself, you probably wouldn't want to be around him at all. Not everybody in Hollywood is fake, though. Some people are good. And it's fascinating, too, because some of the people who play the worst characters on television and movies are sometimes some of the best people. For instance, Larry Hagman. Would you ever like Larry Hagman if he actually was his character, Tony the astronaut, or if he was I can't even think of his name, the character that he played on Dallas, JR, that's it, JR. You wouldn't like Larry Hagman if he was actually like his characters, but he's supposed to have been one of the best people out there as far as friendship. And he was also, he's also a really good husband to his wife. So it's just what the thing is. Sometimes people can play somebody that they're not. But yeah, I think I would tend to agree with you about Stern to some degree. Crystal says, I first heard Hal on the drive time on Stephanie Miller's show, Hump Days with Hal. Andrew Dice Clay was gross but funny, yes. The one I was trying to think of, Rosebud, was the one who has the dry humor, who always says things like, did you ever notice you drive on a driveway and park on a driveway? I can't remember that guy's name, though. Carlin is great, but I prefer Pryor personally. Yeah, Pryor is incredibly interesting. And Andrea says that Hagman was a very nice man. Was Pryor gay? I don't know. Queer as folk is when I first saw Hal Sparks. Andrea says back to Ernie that Pryor was not gay. So I'm sure he dabbled. Starting John Ward first, definitely. 2, JR in Dallas. Yes, that's who Larry Hagman is. He was JR in Dallas, and he was the astronaut Tony on I Love a Genie. Is that the comedian that passed? No, I'm not talking about anybody that's passed. I'm talking about various different people, but the one I'm talking about is like dry humor. Did you ever notice you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway? It's noticed in there, but it doesn't. It's not telling me who said the joke. Maybe it was written. I'm trying to remember his name, though. It's just escaping me. Yes, sir. Stephen Wright. Thank you. That's who I was trying to think of. He's somebody I've always wanted to go see because I just laugh hysterically at everything he says. Yes, Pryor did have Richard Pryor did have a lot of drug issues. It cost his life because he set himself on fire. And of course, Robin Williams. There's really nobody like Robin Williams. Hi, Trucker John. It's Robin Williams. So, Colbert is your favorite talk show host? Yeah, he's really good. A few months back when I was sitting around the hospital waiting around for somebody because I was in the ER, I was watching, what's his name? The guy that used to be on Saturday Night Live, but not the late show that comes on after the news at 11, the other one that's later than that. I can't think of his name either. Oh, we're just talking comedians because we're talking tonight on Hal Sparks Birthday, and really just nobody's really throwing up anything serious, and my computer, the second computer, is not really behaving tonight. In fact, I'll see what the processor is doing right now just to click on it and see whether it's over there spinning its wheels and doing nothing. But the show started basically about 57 minutes ago. Started out with 1 or 2 viewers. I supposedly have a viewer coming back here shortly. Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah is good. No, but that's not who I'm thinking about. It's the guy on NBC. I can't think of his name. Probably the memory is the problem with my other computer. Seth Meyers. Yes, thank you. God, I love my audience. You come up with the answers to the people that I can't think of. Stephen Wright is a DJ in Reservoir Dogs. I've heard that title of the movie. I've never watched it. There's probably a whole lot of comedy movies I've never seen. Nothing beats old school Conan. Oh, yes, I was a Conan fan for sure. Yeah. Because that humor of his. They're all pretty good, though. Yeah, Stephen Wright has the dry delivery where he just like looks like a scientist or something that's always monotone, and yet he makes up funny stuff. Yeah, we have some great late night comedians. I tell you, when you're sitting in a hospital ER and you're just stuck there, if you can watch a comedian, it kind of helps the time go by. It's way better than watching the late night infomercials. Quentin Tarantino's first movie, he used the money he made from that to make Pulp Fiction. So we have Trucker John in the house. Y'all need to follow Trucker John and watch his show. I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. That would be 6 a.m. Pacific time. If you need a different time zone, tell me which one and I'll help you. Who's Trucker John? He's somebody that's in our chat tonight. And he's a truck driver, and he does the show, and he just talks about what he wants to talk about while he sits at the rest stops across the United States. So Giving a shout out to our buddy Trucker John. 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And yes, he's on YouTube. I don't know if he's still here or not, but there he is. Okay, there he is. You're welcome, sir. Help our friends out. See if we can get the viewership up. So, what's NT? Tell me where you live. Because maybe I can tell what NT is. NT time zone. NT is Canada. Newfoundland time, 9:31. And I'm 8 o'clock, so you're an hour and a half ahead of me. So that would be 1:31 p.m. Brian Karam, that's a name I don't really recognize, but probably he's been on John's. Yeah, Hal and Tony are on at noon, but occasionally, something's going to happen every once in a while that they're not on for whatever reason. But I don't think Trucker John's going to be on at the same time they're on. And he's on at Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are Hal's days off. And hopefully Tony Michaels is back, because Tony Michaels got a copyright strike, so we hope he's back. So he was back the other day, and then there was issues with YouTube on the same day he came back. It just kind of terribly sucks, but it happens. So is there anything, current topics you want to talk about? We talked about the hurricane. We've talked about comedians, or you just want to shoot the breeze tonight? Because we really don't mind. Whatever you want to do is shoot the breeze. Yeah, Tony was back the other day. Patty says, shout out to the dabblers. YouTube was giving him a hard time. So, got a private message here, so just hang on. But y'all talk amongst yourselves. But I'll tell this individual that I'm doing a live show. And hey to Debbie, who joined us. Yes, Trucker John is on Hal's off days, so instead of watching Hal Sparks in the morning, you could watch Trucker John. You can talk about that. You can talk about that, Ernie, but I'm not the expert to ask about that, so. So Hal will be back in the morning on the morning show. So tune in for Hal on the morning show at the usual times, 9 a.m. Pacific and noon. Some things I don't express a public opinion on, because I'm not the president of the United States. So when you ask me about my private opinions, I will kind of tend to keep those to myself. I think that all people that are good people who have other people's best interests in heart should have a place to live. And I think that we should, as a culture, as a world culture, resolve our differences and work together instead of working to fight each other. But I will not express an opinion over one country versus another, except when one country is violating another country's rights. So in the case of the Ukraine and Russia, I will definitely support the Ukraine. But I think that we all as a people need to find our place together, and we all need to work together instead of fighting each other all the time. And that means that everybody deserves equality and everybody deserves equity. And how we get there, I'm not sure how, but we need to be working toward that. We need to be working as one people to protect ourselves, protect our environment, and perpetuate the species instead of fighting each other and grandstanding and say that one way is better than another. Because the only way that's better than another is treating all people as though they matter. It's always fun when you're in the middle of a show and your friend is like asking you questions. So doing a show yeah, it's difficult that people don't keep their cultural interpretations. And when I talk about all of us getting together as one people, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people maintaining their cultural differences, maintaining what's special about their culture, but not fighting over each other the way the MAGA say, your culture has no place here. No, your culture has every bit of a place here, because in most cases, a person who is a MAGA saying your culture has no place here is a person who comes from a culture that wouldn't be here if they didn't take over the land in the first place. So yes, all cultures belong. Rosebud says she missed me singing to Hal. Well, Rosebud, the thing about it is Andrea doesn't like my singing because I'm not Hal. But essentially, and I would have to go get the lyrics. So yeah, just I can go get the lyrics that I jotted down and sing it, but Andrea's going to get her opinion about how I sing. But it's up to you. But basically, there were two things that I did the other day. One was I got on Stephanie Miller's show because they were talking about the song Never Been to Me, and the producers were talking about how long the song was and how long the songs were back in the 70s. And I think Stephanie Miller brought up old songs like The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald and so forth. And I got on and I said that I will show the emails, but because I'm on the different software tonight, don't think I have those. I do have the emails in a video, so I can do that when I get up to take a quick break, and you'll see the emails in there. But that's the one thing that I didn't put into software yet is the banners for the emails. I could try doing that if it doesn't crash the system. So let's see if I can do that without crashing the system. So talk amongst yourselves. Let's see if I can do that without crashing the system. My camera may go slow. Yeah, that kind of crashed the system. Nope, can't do that without crashing the system. So I'll have to play the video. So you know what? You all talk among yourselves. I'll play the video that has the emails in it. And that's how you'll get it. So hang on. Okay, hopefully you got the emails from there. You can keep talking amongst yourself, though. I just thought of another way that I can get the emails, so hang on. Because the way that I tried didn't work. And the main reason why that didn't work is because it tried to share the camera with another piece of software, and that just crashes the camera. So I found another way to get Andrea's email. So there's Andrea's email. And if you keep talking among yourselves, I'll create one for myself. There's my email if you do want to send me something. Case is not important. I only do it that way so that you can read it easier, but it just KENOTTO21 @yahoo.com. And again, with Andrea's, it's ADM34_34237 @yahoo.com. Okay. The banner stayed up because I didn't take it down. All right. Here we go. When is the postponed rocket supposed to go? I don't know. They really haven't done anything yet. Hello? Well, it depends on what you want to talk about. I mean, this is after, here's the point. This is after all my YouTube channel, and for me to maintain that channel, I need. No, you're not on right now. You're talking to me only in my ear. So if you can't tell me what you're going to talk about, I'm going to hang up, and that's how this works. Okay. I guess that's how it works. You're not going to tell me what you're going to talk about. So please kindly get your own show. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And that's how that works. You're not going to tell me what you're going to talk about. I'm not going to put you on my channel and let you take it down. I'll be happy to teach you how to do your own channel, where you can fight it off with YouTube about what you're free to say and what not to say. I don't know. Didn't tell me his name. Didn't tell me what he was talking about. Have no idea. So, I mean, you wouldn't get on a regular radio show without telling them what you're talking about. There's such a thing as a call screener. And since I'm in charge of this show, I'm the call screener. So, just is what it is. So, Robin says, I can't stand to hear my own voice. I have no idea who was on the phone. It's nice that Hal got his present and loved it. Yeah, I know it wasn't you, Robin. That much I do know. Probably a few more people. What do you want to talk about, Ernie? That's true. We don't have a number to call in per se. The number is really to ask questions and to participate, you know. But the thing about your topic is, Ernie, that I don't know if you can remain civil and discuss that topic. That's the question. Because you have to stay civil, because this is my YouTube channel. And you can get me kicked off of it if you're not civil. So that's the problem. Ah, the Ficus t-shirt. That's right. Hey, good evening, Liberal Dan. That's a good question, Trucker John. Did anybody go to the show? Yeah, I bet he was a little bit emotional with everything that went on with the gift that was given. So we have Liberal Dan in the house. Check out Liberal Dan's talk show also on YouTube. Liberal Dan in the house. If you're going to call this number, tell me what you're going to call about. Say what you're going to say in my ear, and we'll see whether you get to talk on air. But it's not hooked up to, like, just take you live, because that's not all hooked up. That takes more configuration, and that changes the dynamics of my voice, because I'd have to leave the setup differently. So we'll see. I'll leave that number up for a few minutes. If not, we'll just talk about other stuff. maybe we'll see. Anyway. Right back, Andrea. Yeah, Hal's a bit of a softie. You're going to go to the next one in Los Angeles? Yeah, you definitely should. Yeah, it's easier to do with the online. So, kind of gets easy. Welcome back, Andrea. Maybe you could get away with live streaming a couple minutes of it. It depends on whether you can get a signal, because everybody else might be trying to do the same thing, Trucker John. Yeah, we hope you don't lose your voice, Andrea. Andrea is resting her voice tonight, folks. She has a voice, but she doesn't want to lose it, so she's resting her voice. Yeah, they did online last time due to COVID. This time they're not doing that because it's better conditions. They have vaccines and everything, and people are doing better. You're trying to fool the YouTube censors. Yeah, gotta fool the censors to make sure that they don't like get your comment and flag it for whatever. It's like, oh boy, he's mentioning that word again. Oh yeah. Oh great, I can read Pig Latin. Okay, so I do not want to stop this show prematurely, so I'm going to take a break. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to play the break video, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, Google, silence timer. Okay, Google, stop alarm. Sheesh. Okay. Well, I had to do a couple of things. One was take a break, and the other was investigate why it was so incredibly warm in here. And apparently, when the air condition tech worked on my air condition, they changed the default setting, and I was on the default. And so my air condition was set at 86 degrees. It's like, no, that does not work. So I had to go back to one of the presets that is much better. So what did you all talk about? Andrea's show. Yeah, it was getting warm in here. I was like, why is it getting warmer and warmer? I thought I changed that setting, but apparently it defaults back to that. So I'll have to like fix that. Let's see, one of the things they do when they come and check the air condition is they also check the heat. So that was obviously to make the heater come on. But all it did was make the air conditioner come on, so I'll have to change that setting. Yeah, it was getting steadily warmer in here. Did I get your call? I don't know. I don't see a missed call or a voicemail. Make sure I put the right number on the screen, but I'm pretty sure I typed that number so many times. Yep, that's the right number. There's the number again. Should be on the right thing to make it work. Supposed to ring this device. So I don't know why. Let me try it myself and see if it works.
send a voicemail, press 2.
See, there's an echo. It works. So I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't work for you. Maybe it's a number that you can't call. Can't tell you. That's why there's email. Come on, go where I want you to go. I hate when icons go where I don't want them to go. Anyway. Put it up again and you can try it. Sure. That's the number. I mean, it does screen you, and it tells you that you have to like say your name and so forth. This week we have Jan 6 committee. Any guesses who will be on? No idea. I don't know if there's any written up thing about that or not. There's an article about it. I'm looking and skimming through it to see if they list any names, but I don't see them listing any names, so there's no point in reading the article. Hey, Jim, welcome. Jim says the January 6 committee was supposed to be wrapping up this month, but think it will continue for a while more. Probably will. In a tweet list, Cheney said if Trump does run, she will quit the GOP. Crystal says, I'm thinking she's not going to say anything that is going to be truthful since she would not want to get in trouble unless she has the fix in. And Andrea says she'll be right back. And Robin said he thought they might talk to Meadows this week, and Crystal said she thought that they might talk to Thomas this week at the Gen 6 committee. Jenny Thomas is supposed to be on the list of people, Robin. I don't know if she's this week or not. It hangs up on you. Don't know why. I mean, I do know that it screens the calls, so the person has to say their name. I don't know why. It could be that you didn't push the button to make the tone work. I don't know, because it has call screening turned on. I can turn off the call screening. That would help you. You can try again. So I put the number back up now that the call screening is turned off. Well, there's the number again. Yeah, no. Forgot to check that. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. Welcome back, Andrea. So if somebody wants to try the number, you will not be on air immediately. So if you want to just try the number to see if you can call it, you don't have to be on air unless you tell me you want to be on air and unless you tell me what you're going to talk about. Hello.
Hi, Shannon, Crystal.
Hi. You want to say hello on air or just testing the number? Okay. Thanks for testing the number, Crystal. All right. Thank you so much. At least we know it works. Bye. So the number does work, and the call screening is off. So try again if you've been trying to call in. And now I show a missed call. But that's weird. I didn't see that before. I show a missed call. Let's see where that is. And this area code, which says it, and of course. I don't know if I can call that because that's a Canadian area code. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. It'll probably tell me whether I can or can't call that back without incurring a charge. Let's see what it says. I'm trying to call back somebody that's in Newfoundland. Hey, this is Ken calling you back because you called my number. I think you're trying to call into Freedom Speech and You. If you are, call back at this number, 772-210-4555. Thanks. Bye. And yes, if you call me when I'm on the phone, it's going to give you a thing. So there's a message. Hey, is this Ernie? Hi. So, Ernie, what do you want to talk about? And what specifically do you want to say? I espoused my opinion that everybody should get along. That was my opinion. So you wanted to know my opinion about your culture and the way that it is being treated, and I espoused my opinion that we should all get along and people should all be accepted as equals. That is my opinion. Why would you want my thoughts as a private individual who can't change governmental policy? That I find interesting, because as one human voting, I can't really amount to anything. I mean, just, I don't know why you don't have your own show. So that's my opinion. Mm-hmm. Have a good day, sir. So he's basically said that I like to pretend that I care about my country, but I don't care about the people. I do care about the people. I do care about issues. I do want to elect somebody that's Democrat for every office, and so that's just the way it is. But once I elect that individual, I can't determine how they're going to vote or how they're going to do what they do. I have to put the faith in the individuals to do what I think they're going to do, and then if they don't do what I hired them to do is by voting for them, then I vote for somebody else. So I don't trust the majority of the Americans to do the right thing on November 8th. Well, we'll have to wait and see, Jim. Crystal says, if the majority goes and votes, we'll be okay. Crystal says that I became a Democrat last month, so it'll show that I've been voting that way anyway, so I thought I would go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's kind of like me, Crystal. So Jim says he votes straight Democratic all the time. Andrea believes there are fewer GOP due to them dying from COVID. Robin says we need turnout. Jim says he hopes that Andrea is right. So who would you like to see testify at the Jan 6 hearing, since that's essentially a curiosity for many of us? Who would you like to see? Yes, we should vote all the time, Crystal. And Andrea believes we'll win the House and the Senate. I hope so. Robin says Pence should testify at the Jan 6 hearings. Be interesting to see what he says, because he's a strange person to still support Trump after everything that was done to him. Crystal believes, along with Andrea, that we will win both houses. That would be nice. Jim says, I've been talking up the Democratic candidate for U.S. representative here, and it looks like he's actually campaigning for a change. Still probably doesn't stand a chance here. Jim, that's interesting, because I thought you said that your locality was more Democrat, but maybe not, or maybe I was mistaken about that. Can't believe they haven't figured out who built the gallows, says Robin. Folks, you can hear Ernie's side of the conversation, but Ernie was trying to get me to express a further opinion about the Indians, and I believe I expressed my opinion as stated, and so that was all I wanted to say. And all Ernie would say is that he wanted me to express my opinion, so I did. You had your chance, Ernie. I turn back on the call screening so that when I go to bed, it doesn't go through. That's the purpose of those numbers, is to allow me to control who calls and when. Because this show goes out over the internet and I don't know when people are going to call. So well, that would explain it. Your phone can't call this number because you're in Newfoundland and I'm in the United States. So, yeah, that's why there's email. And put Andrea's email up again. The person that I call back to is in Newfoundland, Ernie. That person could be pretending to be you. I don't know. I have no way of knowing. So if you're not in Newfoundland, then it's not you and it's somebody else pretending to be you, but that could very well be so. No idea. Could be Ernie. What do we think about the Trump special master? I thought the news about the special master was that the special master determined that Trump had to produce information about what exactly he wanted to get back from the government, what things that he thought that were taken, that were his, that were not. Classified documents, and he didn't respond. That's what I heard. Or was that the 11th Circuit Court decision? And Robin says, I think the special master is doing the right thing so far. And Robin was asking about the battery technology that Hal was talking about the other day on his show. Excuse me. So let's see if this is... something new from MIT. Made from inexpensive, abundant materials, aluminum sulfur battery could provide low-cost backup storage for renewable energy sources. So that's the article. I don't know if this looks like what Hal was talking about the other day on his show. So let me... does that look familiar? It's made of aluminum and sulfur and rock salt. It's domestically available, so we don't have to get it from somewhere else. Aluminum and sulfur are the electrode materials, and the salt electrolyte in between. The professor, John F. Elliott, said, I wanted to invent something that was much better than lithium-ion batteries for small-scale stationary storage and ultimately for automotive use. The standard lithium-ion batteries, which are usually found in electric vehicles, contain flammable electrolyte, making them less ideal for transportation. So he studied the periodic table and looked for things that he could substitute for the lithium. That's why he came up with this. And he says aluminum is no different from the foil at the supermarket. Sulfur, which is often a waste product from processes such as petroleum refining. So the ingredients are cheap, he says, and the thing is safe. It can't burn. Batteries can endure hundreds of cycles at high charging rates and expect to cost 1/6 of that of the lithium-ion cell. It charges faster at 230 degrees Fahrenheit or 110 Celsius than it does at 25 Celsius or 77. So it works good under conditions that would probably be experienced in a vehicle traveling down a road. So if it's under, I don't know exactly how hot an engine gets in a car, like if it's in a car that's hybrid or whatever, but it seems like it would work better, all right? It talks about more things like the chemical melting points and so on and so on and so on. And that article is at MIT News because it's an MIT development. So if you're interested in more than that. Yeah, I didn't go that far, but 2,600 years of battery life, that seems like awesome. Trump thinks all his judicial appointments are as corrupt as he is. Now he's surprised that some of them actually do injustice. Yes, he is surprised, Jim. Robin says we need to fast track that technology. Yes. Crystal says, I think the special master is trying to do his job using the law, not making stuff up because you're a Trump tool and have the power. Andrea agrees with Jim about the evaluation of Trump's appointments. And I got another call from the number that called earlier. Just a missed call. So 11th Circuit Court. So hopefully the share screen works. And of course, by the time I get the share up, it just sort of like I can use the NPR. So the 11th court ruled in favor of the DOJ and repudiated Trump's legal arguments, allowing the DOJ to resume its use of classified records seized from the former president's Florida state as part of its ongoing investigation. It's an overwhelming victory for the Justice Department and allows the DOJ to continue scrutinizing the documents. They noted that Trump presented no evidence that he had declassified the sensitive records, as he maintained as recently as Wednesday. He rejected the possibility that Trump could have an individual interest in or need for these roughly 100 documents with classified markings that were seized by the FBI in its August 8th search of his property. The government argued that their investigation had been impeded and national security concerns were swept aside by Judge Eileen Cannon. And the appeals court agreed with the Justice Department's concerns, It's self-evident the public has a strong interest in ensuring that the storage of the classified records did not result in exceptionally grave damage to national security, they wrote. Ascertaining that, they added, necessarily involves reviewing the documents, determining who has access to them and when, and deciding which, if any, sources or methods are compromised. And two of those judges who issued that ruling were nominated by Trump. So Trump didn't just buy judges. Lawyers for Trump did not return an email seeking comment on whether they would appeal the ruling, and Justice Department did not have an immediate comment. Then it goes into details about how many documents they seized and so forth, and so forth. And y'all are discussing recycling batteries and where to do. Yes, Canon is a joke, Robin. Canon is the Trump stew, says Andrea. Crystal says, well, that is a powerful leader. If he could think something and it would happen, how's that working for you? I forget who said it today. Was it yesterday? Oh, I think it was on Stuttering John, and it could have been John, or it could have been Richard Ojeda. I think it was John, though, actually, because I was listening to part of yesterday's Stuttering John while I was traveling today. And it was John, I think, that said that Trump could not exhibit that power because he wasn't a Jedi. And only a Jedi can move things with the mind. So if you can't like, use your mind and wave your hand and say, these are not the unclassified documents you're looking for. These are unclassified because I said so, because I have the Jedi mind trick. Can't do that. No. Or you can't go, these are not the documents you're looking for. So. Midas Touch is always saying that the judge is corrupt. And Robin says, I hope she swings the door shut on Trump so she can save some face. She might not. I don't know. I mean, what exactly? Let's see. Judge Cannon. Oh, she's an appointee. Judge Cannon. Appointee. Florida. She was nominated by Trump. So let's see what this says. Confirmed by the Senate. So I guess she's just in that job because he nominated her, and I guess nothing changes. I know we vote for some judges, but I guess that's not the kind that we vote for. I take it. So must be so. Welcome back with your new device. Leonard Lido Group. Not sure what you mean by that, Robin. He lied about the queen. Yeah. Yeah. She didn't make him a knight. He was probably talking to her and she wanted him to go away. And she said, good night. And he thought that made him a knight. I'm sorry you feel that humanity is doomed and environmentalism doesn't matter. Andrea says someone said that two of Trump's lawyers quit. I thought we heard that this week too. Andrea says the Queen didn't want Trump at her funeral. I wouldn't either. Jim says I won't live long enough to see the worst of the environmental breakdown. Whoever Sheldon Whitehouse is always talking about. Sheldon Whitehouse, another talk show host, I take it. How do you keep up with those lawyers? Crystal says they all seem to be quitting. Oh, that's funny about the Jedi. Yeah, I don't know if you're lagging or because of your internet connection, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that was John that said that. He couldn't use the Jedi mind trick to change the status of the documents. Maybe I should say that when people try to come on and talk about things, rough topics that we don't want to talk about. These are not the topics you're looking for. Andrea says Florida colleges have said all Florida colleges are closed due to the storm. Yeah, that's likely. Robin Brazel says that Sheldon Whitehouse is a senator. Thank you for letting me know. Andrea says the lawyers quit because they don't get paid. Ralph M. inquires, John. Yes, we discuss the other talk shows we watch here. So we discuss the other talk shows and their topics. Whitehouse is a U.S. representative. Andrea says happy birthday to Mark Hamill. And happy birthday to Army Major Richard Ojeda. Crystal says about Trump, the Queen didn't like him much. She was polite, but you could see it in her face. She was basically polite. Yeah, that's her job to be a thing, you know. And happy birthday to Hal Sparks, yes. There's a video of Trump and the Queen in the garden, and Trump was rude. It's not out of character for him to be rude, that's for sure. Chris Linda says, I don't think she knows what she's done us wrong. She doesn't seem to know much about the law and doesn't seem like she likes to do research. I read that she barely passed. I think you're talking about the judge, because I think you're lagging the rest of us, Crystal. So you're talking about Judge Cannon. And Andrea says of the video regarding Trump and the Queen, it was very bad. And Robin says, ain't he always? Yes, Robin, I know that Crystal's talking about Cannon. Crystal's having internet issues tonight, so she's lagging the rest of us. And by how much, I'm not sure how much. And by the time you hear my voice, Crystal, if you want, you can click on the lower left where it says live and just click, and that might make you catch up to us, or it might not. It just depends on your connection. Of Judge Cannon, Crystal says she was not recommended to be a judge by that group. It tells us about their experience in schooling. I can't remember who that is, darn. That's okay, Crystal. If you can't remember people's names, I do that all the time. Andrea reminds you to hit the like on our video. If you don't like it, hit the down arrow and say that you dislike the video, because either way, you help the algorithm. Andrea says, I think this week will be an interesting week. It will be if the Jan 6 hearings start, so I think we're expecting that. And Crystal responds that she was talking about Cannon, Judge Cannon, and Jim is talking something about the American Bar Association, but not what. So maybe that was... And Robin is talking about the Federalist Society. Andrea says, well, if Trump doesn't answer, then the case gets dropped and the DOJ can continue. Yes, exactly. Crystal says, I've been on live almost the whole time. This is very frustrating, almost as frustrating as my tongue. I've been on live almost the whole time, says Crystal. This is very frustrating, and I have to type in my phone, which is slow going with one finger. Yeah, I know. Sorry. No worries. I don't read that fast, Crystal, so it's not like you have to type super fast. Jim says Biden would do well not to appoint any judge recommended by Federalist Society. Andrea reiterates the same feeling. No worries, Crystal, you're okay. Yeah, we don't mind if you're lagging or if you're having issues. We're just happy you're here. Leonard Leo runs the Federalist Society. Sheldon Whitehouse is always railing on that. Okay. I presume the Federalist Society, I should look it up. I should not presume. Okay. So you can kind of read along with me. The American Conservative and Libertarian legal organization that advocates for textualist and originalist interpretation of the Constitution. In other words, they make up their own opinion. And it vetted Trump's list of potential Supreme Court nominees. And 43 out of 51 of his appellate court nominees were current or former members of the society. Yep, it's exactly what I thought it was. It's an arm of the Republican Party under them. I wonder if Shapiro said something on his show that is so bad. Robin says Democrats never do. That's a Republican thing. Crystal inquires what Shapiro said. Jim says federal society is to law as the dominionists are to religion. Robin says 6 out of 9 came from that group. I think you're expressing a ratio. Carl Smith joined us. Hey, good evening, Carl. I just finished working on my neighbor's boat. I stink. Time to jump into the rain locker. Yes, sir. You know, we're happy to just see you here, Carl, for an instant, if that's all you can spare. Thank you for coming and boosting the algorithm. Please hit the like on your way out, sir. Crystal says, I believe they are the Republicans. Yes, the Federalist Society are Republicans, and they are the kind who believe that their interpretation is the only interpretation of the Constitution, but obviously their interpretation is incorrect compared to us Democrats who are correct. So Crystal says that the Federalist Society is the one turning the courts to the right. Oh, and Robin reiterates that he's talking about the 6 Supreme Court justice coming from that society. So yes, thank you, Robin. I should have connected the 9. I'm sorry, Robin. You said 6 out of 9, and my brain went to 7 out of 9. So in quotation, I'm going to make sure Donald Trump, I'm going to do everything I can make sure he is not the nominee. And if he is the nominee, I won't be a Republican, said you said it earlier. Cheney. That's what she said. And it's quoted in the Texas Tribune. Merrick Garland is a Republican, but is a good one. Yes. The ABA rates the qualifications of lawyers and judges. Okay, Jim, because I must have missed half your comment. But yeah, American Bar Association rates the qualifications of lawyers and judges. Andrea explains that that's about Liz Cheney, and I'd already said Cheney, but by the time I see your comment, you wrote it at the exact same time I said mine. So Robin says, that's my bad. No, don't feel bad. You know, sometimes it's difficult to follow along with the exact conversation because depending on how many lines you write, I could see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 comments. And it's something that Jim has said in previous shows is it's good to have a show with this few viewers because it's easier to read comments when there are this few comments. Just imagine what this thing will be like when there's a lot more comments. The ideal thing, though, is when the show gets bigger and there's more people, then there just have to be, you know, interaction between you folks about who responds to who. And there, why Ty was able to be overturned, or as the Republicans say, send it back to the states. Yes, because they were able to get 6 out of 9 of the Supreme Court justices. And Robin reiterates what Andrea said earlier. I have no idea what I was trying to say, Robin. I could get Cheney out of my brain, but for some reason I was like thinking a different first name, and I was like, nope, shut up, just say Cheney. Jim says the American Bar Association also rates the qualifications of lower court judges to be higher court judges. They are generally nonpartisan. Robin says ABBA is a rock group. Did I say ABBA instead of ABA? I have no idea at this point of the night. I could have. Carl Smith says to Andrea, I hope your voice is doing better. She's reserving her voice tonight, Carl. She does have a voice, but she doesn't want to lose it. So she's just taking it easy tonight. And she wanted to be in chat tonight to, you know, express her opinions openly in chat. So she chose to be in chat tonight. Crystal says it takes a lot for Liz to turn against the right, but she still voted 90 to 95 with Trump. Yeah, I know. Robin says I'm terrible with names. So am I, Robin. I literally have to do name mnemonics unless I use somebody's name enough. So, you know, and yeah, you were being silly about ABBA. Yeah, that's okay. I enjoy that because that's kind of my thing in chat. You know that I will like pick up on something and throw something funny in that's about music just to break up the monotony of chat. Andrea says, Ben Shapiro says the U.S. military is being ruined because it is abandoning masculinity. Quote, people who tend to fight wars are very patriotic male people. Traditional masculinity. Bleh. Try again. Traditional masculinity has been core to and I can't see the rest of the comment, and I don't know if would it show me at all? No, cuts it off. Core to something. And then she continues, people who tend to idea, but we're a society that doesn't believe in traditional masculinity. So basically, Shapiro's got his masculinity tied in a knot because the military isn't completely masculine, which is kind of silly, stupid crap. Yes, I know. Ben Shapiro is the one who said that. And Crystal says, that is terrible what Shapiro said, and in my opinion, wrong. There's plenty of women serving our country who would stomp his ass. Yes, they would, Robin. Look at my next post. Your next post on Twitter. I did it already. Because Ron Filipowski 6 hours ago said Ben Shapiro says the U.S. military is being ruined because it is abandoning masculinity. People who tend to fight wars are very patriotic, very male people, said Shapiro. Traditional masculinity has been core to that idea. That was the part that got cut off by my Streamyard. But we're a society that doesn't believe in traditional masculinity. So Streamyard cut off 2 words. That's why I wasn't able to read the whole thing. Yeah. Streamyard cut off 2 words. So again, Shapiro's quote is, people who tend to fight wars are very patriotic, very male people. Traditional masculinity has been core to that idea, but we're a society that doesn't believe in traditional masculinity. End quote. That's Ben Shapiro. Andrea says he's young and dumb and full of blank. You know what? Yes, ma'am, I do. This coming from a guy that talks at 33 RPM. Well, it's more like he's talking at 33 RPM, but we hear him at 45 since he sympathizes with number 45. So yeah. Did you want to hear what he actually said in his own words, or nah, I think that's enough. I can't really stand that voice. And we'll probably hear it on Hal Sparks anyway. Jim says, I never understand why you folks listen to those right-wing jokes. No one needs that negativity in their lives. Well, see, the thing about that is, Jim, is that you have to get at the core of what they're saying and break it down and say why it's wrong and say why it's inappropriate, because otherwise you have that segment of the population that is malleable, that sits between the left and the right. And it's the people in the middle that you have to convince to come over to the left side. And those are the people that all of us talk show hosts have to talk to in order to get them to agree with the left, the Democrats. Because otherwise, they're going to hear these people over and over again. So Shapiro's going to say it. Dora is going to pick up on it. Somebody else is going to pick up on it, because that's how the Republican talking points work. First one of them says it, and the rest of them all repeat it. So if you don't shut them down, then, it is what it is. They're going to just keep saying it. Yeah, I know. I used to be like you, Jim. I used to ignore them. The problem is, I think it's more important to ignore the people that parrot them. I think it's more important to ignore the people that don't have an opinion of their own, and don't have a talk show and can't really do anything other than repeat what those people say. It's important to break it down. And yes, in a way, you're right, Jim. In a way, we should be more positive about what we want to say, but we have to take them down as well. So there has to be a balance between being positive and delivering our message and taking down the people that are delivering their message over and over again. Because every morning I wake up and I want to watch the news, and I want to see what's happening with the rockets, and I want to see what's happening with the weather, and I want to know if there's a traffic accident out there that's going to affect me getting to work, and does it affect me getting somewhere else I have to get to some appointment. But instead I have to watch all these ads for Ron DeSantis is the best person ever. He did this, he did that. I was so distraught because my son was killed by somebody that shouldn't have been in this country, you know. Well, why is it that someone is in this country? Because Ron DeSantis was here when that person got in that country, and the person got in the country probably ostensibly when Trump was in the country. You know, you cannot take the fact that some of the governors are Democrats, or some of the representatives are Democrats, or some of the senators are Democrats, or the president currently is a Democrat, and just say, well, that's the whole reason why everything happens. Part of the reason why people get in the country has nothing to do with who's in office. It has everything to do with the fact that some of the people in office are not working together to control who comes into this country and when. If they were working together, if they simply won their election and actually all worked together to keep people out of this country who are dangerous illegals who shouldn't be here, and if they were actually working together to ensure that everybody that's driving a car has a driver's license and should be behind the wheel, then we would prevent these deaths. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, we kind of live in different worlds, but the effect of my world has an effect on your world. So everybody that gets into one state is has a potential to get into another state. Just because somebody resides in one state doesn't prevent them from driving to another. So this person that gets into one state could drive into another state. And the idea that traffic accident creator X, who happens to be an illegal, who happens to live in such and such state, that happens to be run by a Democrat, the idea that person is there because there happens to be a Democrat in charge of that state is BS. That individual is responsible for what that individual did driving. And the fact that you elect a governor here in Florida that's a Republican is not going to change things one iota. It's not going to bring her son back. And why in the world is she, I don't want to use the word, but why in the world is she doing what she's doing to support this governor? I'd never understand those kind of things. You know, my child died or this stuff happened and it would have been different if this person was governor. Bullshit. Bullshit. Your child died because somebody was behind the wheel that shouldn't be behind the wheel. So Crystal says I'm on the West Coast, so let me put the sunshine and lollipops into the mix. DeSantis is simply trying to soak up any Trump supporters that he can, says Robin. Yes, he definitely is. Who did Malcolm Nance? Golly gee whiz, I put your name together. Apologies to Malcolm Nance. Who did Malcolm Nance school? Thanksgiving Day PowerPoints from Hal. Yeah, things that we should say at Thanksgiving dinner table. Malcolm Nance schooled Shapiro. Okay. Crystal, what I was saying about somebody driving into another state was, my point was to be, as the Ron DeSantis ad is, to propose an idea that the state would be better with Ron DeSantis as continued governor, because if Ron DeSantis was our governor, so-and-so would not have been able to be in the country. You know, it's like, we have to reelect Ron DeSantis governor. It's like she's implying that by reelecting DeSantis governor, like somehow that's his stepping stone to get into the White House too, I guess. I don't know. And it's going to prevent other kids from dying from somebody being here that is an illegal. And I guess it's just the idea that you know, she's supportive of Ron DeSantis' idea to throw anybody that's an illegal into another state, you know. But my point was, if you relocate these people to another state, and that's what you're supporting by voting for Ron DeSantis, then how are you really protecting anybody? All you're really doing is you're relocating the illegal to another state and saying, it's not my problem here in Florida, it's somebody else's problem. So she's going to be happy that somehow by an illegals or group of illegals being removed from Florida is going to prevent other kids from Florida and dying. But at the same time, she's basically saying, well, you people in the other states, because you voted for a Democratic governor, your kids can die and it doesn't bother me. You know. And I'm saying, in doing so, that she's relocating that person to another state. And what's to prevent them from driving to Florida on vacation? Or is part of their job? And Jim says they're not illegals, that they are busing elsewhere. Yeah, they're not necessarily illegals, but you know. And when I say illegals, Jim, I'm not implying that they are not illegals. I'm saying that in the eyes of the woman who enabled herself to be used in the DeSantis commercial, she's basically calling them illegals and saying they shouldn't be here, because that's what I'm implying from what she's doing in the commercial. Is she's basically, you know, she's basically the same kind of thing as a Gold Star family saying that they would vote for Trump because Trump's supportive of military people, and he's not really. And you know, why are they doing that? They're allowing themselves to be used. Immigrants. Thank you, Robin. Yes, Jim, I was using the GOP term. I was using their terminology to get at what they discuss. They are immigrants and they are refugees, yes. And I was not trying to be associating them with that, but I was just saying that. And yes, Crystal, that's true. What the governor of Florida did is is illegal. What he did by shipping them out to another place for a photo op, that is illegal. They are not illegal. They are immigrants and refugees. They deserve to be here. They deserve their time in court or whatever is necessary to give them the appropriate asylum. So yeah. But I have to see those ads every single day. They were here legally here until he started shipping them around the country. Yes. You know, I rely on all of you to make sure that I use the appropriate terminology. Yes, Jim, I too would like to see him charged with human trafficking. I find it fascinating that his party constantly talks about how human trafficking is such a problem, and then they go and participate in it. And Robin, thank you for your prayers and support and love coming our way. Yes, he did go to Texas to get them. They weren't even here. That's the other thing. He's willing to grandstand to do whatever. He needs to have consequences for his inhumane actions, says Crystal. I absolutely agree. Got any final thoughts as we get closer to the 10 o'clock hour in my time zone? And what would you like to... Okay, I'll hang in there, Jim. I won't leave till you come back. And Crystal reiterates what Jim said, that DeSantis did go to Texas to go get these people. While you all think about any final thoughts for today's show and maybe what you want to talk about next show. It's fascinating how when your house gets so hot that it can still be like a degree away from what I would consider the ideal temperature and feel good. Of course, I got a fan on, so that's the only reason why I got through the show, even though my air conditioner was on the wrong setting. So. Crystal says of DeSantis, he didn't win by that many votes, so hopefully those folks will be too upset to go vote if they didn't get COVID. It really depends on how the voters see Charlie Crist and how they see his running mate. I believe his running mate might appeal to South Florida, so we'll just have to see. South Florida voters, there's a predominantly Hispanic community down there, and some of them identify with an idea that they don't want to vote for anybody that's like Castro, and basically our current Senator Marco Rubio kind of talked to them before, and DeSantis also speaks Spanish, so hopefully Charlie Crist's running mate can speak Spanish and appeal to them. Andrea says of what DeSantis did, it was a political stunt that they were originally from Texas. A plane was brought by DeSantis, flown to Texas, picked them up, and took them to Martha's Vineyard. Crystal asks, was that a spaceship? I'm not sure what you're asking about. I'm not sure what you're asking about. Not sure when the Artemis is going, if you're asking about that. Not sure if they rolled it back. I can open up and see some stuff. See if they've added anything new to the blog. So I keep track of the blog and I look at it every once in a while. Let's see if they've added any new Artemis. It says 9:11 p.m. tonight. NASA continues to closely monitor the weather forecast associated with Tropical Storm Ian while conducting final preparations to allow for rolling back Artemis 1 Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft to the vehicle assembly building. Managers met Sunday evening to review the latest information on the storm from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the U.S. Space Force, and the National Hurricane Center, and decided to meet again Monday to allow for additional data gathering overnight before making the decision when to roll back. NASA continues to prioritize its people while protecting the Artemis 1 rocket and spacecraft systems. So that is of almost an hour ago. I was holding something and it looked like a spaceship. Interesting. You mean like this? I was holding my cup, and my cup is the same color as the wall, so my cup chroma key's out. So that's what I'm holding. I do that for fun and grins. And the only other things I've been holding are like my phone and maybe my other phone, I don't know. But since my phone is green, my phone might do some funny, interesting things because the color of my iPhone is green. Tim says there should be a great viewing of Saturn tomorrow night. Andrea says South Florida voters predominantly Cuban and Venezuelan and Guatemalans. Martha's Vineyard is an island, and if DeSantis had done any, and I predict you meant any research, he would have seen that they were not an area to send them to. Yeah. Nope, not that, low. See, now I don't know if this cuts you off, but this is all I see. So if your comments are really long in this, I may not see your entire comment. I could go to YouTube. Not that important. It looks the same on YouTube, so it's cut off on YouTube too. Yep. Martha's Vineyard is an island, and if DeSantis had done any research, he was seen that that was not a place to send them, is essentially what you're saying. Yes. The rocket that went off last week was a SpaceX Falcon 9 with Starlink. That was the rocket on Sunday. And the rocket that went up last night was also a Starlink. So both of those are rockets intended to launch satellites which propagate internet access like the internet access that Richard Ojeda uses. The rocket last week was just a SpaceX Falcon 9. So I don't think I held up anything that showed the rocket. I could show you the rocket launch from last week. If you want to see that, I could do that. Yeah. I could probably find the video of that I created. So I have way too many videos and things that I share of mine and others, but I'll get to it eventually. In fact, it would be easier to just search for it. I'm not sure. Probably go back. Go back. Yeah, it's not coming up super easy. I'm going to have to just go to the group itself. Sorry, I'm missing all your chat while I look for this. If I didn't post so much media, it wouldn't be so hard for me to find my own video. Should be here. Is that it? Oh no, maybe that's it. Nope, not it. Somebody's photo, not mine. Did I post it on my own page? Maybe that's why I can't find it. Talk amongst yourselves. I hope I posted it. I hope I didn't forget to post it. That would be a bad thing. No, that's from a few nights ago. I want the one that's recent. Why don't they come in order? I don't know. I don't know. Must be in here. Must be in the group and not in mine. Well, this should bring me to it though. Sooner or later. Hopefully sooner than not later. I'm sorry I'm missing all your comments while I look for this, but I run a Facebook group and I'm the only one who pretty much posts to it. So that's just the nature of things. It's here somewhere. How many posts back are we? It should be after it. Should be getting closer. Sorry I'm missing all the lovely chat. Yep. There it is. Okay. So now I can show it to you because it took me a while to find it. Sorry it took so long. And I did the wrong thing. Hang on. There we go. Now, I probably should have muted my microphone when I did that. I probably should have muted my microphone when I did that. Shoot, it's going to play this. Let me take that out. Why is it still? Come on. Do you all hear that music too? Shoot, that should not be playing. I hope you didn't hear that music. Get a copyright strike for playing that music. Could you see the rocket? Could you hear the sound, or do I need to play it again without the microphone on? But you should have heard the low rumble if you have on the earbuds. Tim says Starlink, future random atmospheric light shows when they eventually start falling to Earth. Yeah, sort of, kind of. Andrea says of the hurricane, the 0Z GFS is coming very close to the Euro. The NHC brings that track even more. At 11, without exception, the surge is in the major issue here. If you live on the water, do not underestimate this storm. And that's from Dennis Phillips, meteorologist of our local station. You don't think you heard anything? Okay. Let me see if I can go back. I'm having trouble going back to the video, though. It's such a pain the way Facebook manipulates stuff these days. So yeah, it's a pain. There is currently 6 people on YouTube and 1 on Twitch. Our Twitch viewer has not really said anything. And what you perceive on YouTube may be based on whether you have the talk chat on or the live chat on. So make sure you, if it says talk chat, click it and change it to live chat. And it always defaults to top chat. And Jim, yes, Jim is there. So let's see if I can bring it up again. I don't know that I can easily find it. Facebook, you make things harder to search for now. It drives me nuts. Just have to scroll through it again. I don't know if I can make it any louder, though. The only thing I can really do is mute my microphone so that you don't hear me when I play the video. There it is. Now I got to get it up. Come on. Goodness sake. Well, I'll probably get it on screen about where I want it to be. So I'll just let it keep playing because by the time it gets on screen. So I hope you heard it because it's like a low rumble is all it is. And most of the time when I record a rocket launch, I'm too far away for the recording to ever record the rumble. So hey, Benny Loco. Hey, Jolie. So everyone, I'm ready to go to sleep. I don't know about the rest of you. Got any final topics? It was pretty awesome. It is about as close as you can get to the rocket. I mean, because the only way you can get any closer than that is if you actually have clearance to be in the water, and you'd have to like read the maritime rules to see where there's clearance for the water. But my gut feeling is nobody can be in that water because I didn't see any boats out there. That doesn't mean there weren't. And probably the only closer that I could have gotten is if I had turned at the appropriate driveway and went there early enough. I could have been out on the dock and recorded from the dock because the dock sticks out, I want to say at least 25, 30 feet into the water. But I was not at the dock, and you can see I was at a fence, and I actually missed my turnoff and ended up at the wrong place. But I worked with it, and I was as close as I could get to the fence because I had to stand there with my camera like this behind the tree. So if this indexing finger that I'm holding up is the tree, I had to put my camera behind the tree so that my camera would see the rocket launch, but not see the security light on the property to my left, which would obscure the video entirely. And I didn't have time to get on the right driveway, because getting on the right driveway would have meant that I would have had to leave the property, turn around, do a loop around on the highway, and come back around. And I was like, if I had done that, I might not have seen the rocket launch at all. Yeah, you heard it that time. Well, that's cool. So yeah, it's only approaching 7:30 where you are, but it's approaching 10:30 here, and I have to get up to work in the morning. So, my best days are when there's a Monday holiday, because when there's a Monday holiday, I can stay on this show and just keep talking and not have to go to sleep so quickly. But kind of just depends on if y'all want to talk a little bit more, whatever. I maybe could give you a little more time, but it just depends. So do y'all want to talk a little bit more or what? It's a school night for Ken. Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, you know. What say you all? You all good with me going to call it a night or what? No, Andrea's not fired from the show, Yang 2028. Andrea is here, but she is resting her voice. So you'll see her in chat on YouTube, but unfortunately, you're not on YouTube, so you can't see her, but she is here. So, and we were not using the software that allows us to aggregate the chat. So if Andrea wants to say hello to you, I can put up what she says, but other than that, you can't see what she's chatting because you're on Twitch instead of YouTube. Jim says, y'all have a great week. You too, Jim. Andrea says to Jim, in the next 24 hours, we will know. Too early yet. I've got boards up in water and canned food, and I will fill gas tanks tomorrow. So what say you all? Y'all want 30 more minutes? Y'all got to speak up. $30 more minutes or 3 more minutes? Actually be about 4 because the outro video plays that long, I think. Stephanie did a great show for Hal's birthday. You want to tell us about it, Yang? Jim says, looks like we're all ready to go. I know I am. I think we're all pooped, says Crystal. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't have one uniform time zone. I mean, it would make it easier, but still there would be people that would have to go at different times. What I should just do is like, at this point, is like, you know, tell Benny Loco to go stream. Benny Loco says, I'm pooping and I still got stuff to do. So, yeah. So, whatever. The true night owl is Andrea. But then Andrea doesn't wake up as early as I do. So. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to play the close. You're going to get to see the brand new revised close, and we can chat with each other on the way out. Thank you very much for joining us tonight for Freedom Speech and You. If you didn't hit the like already, please hit the like on your way out. If you hate the show, hit the down button. YouTube doesn't care. It'll boost the algorithm, and the other social media will do likewise. And join us here next week for another show. Hopefully Andrea will be back with her good working voice. But as always, if she doesn't have her voice, she'll be in chat, so she can always chat with you on YouTube. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a pleasant rest of your Sunday, and if you're on the other side of things where it's already Monday, have a great Monday. Try to anyway. It is, after all, Monday. Bye for now.